He was born in 1728, son of a Yorkshire labourer, and joined the Navy in his teens as an able seaman. Captain James Cook opened up the Pacific for Britain, mapping and trading and exploring.
He gave us our first accurate mapping of the coast of British Columbia all the way up to Alaska. He documented the indigenous people throughout the Pacific.
There are journals of Captain James Cook's third voyage, the Voyage of the Pacific, at the Royal BC Museum.
It's done in 3 volumes with an atlas, and volume 2 is the volume that discusses what he found when he got to Vancouver Island.
Captain James Cook dropped anchor on the west coast of Vancouver Island, March 29, 1778, this week in history.
A dozen large canoes appeared off the south point of the cove, where they stopped and lay drawn up in a line.
The Yuquot welcomed Captain Cook and shouted Nootka for his ships to come around. Captain Cook, perhaps misunderstanding, called the place Nootka. Along with maps and documentation, he
showed a cure for scurvy for the British Navy. He gave us botanical drawings. He gave us the first collections of artifacts from indigenous culture.
Spanish explorer Juan Perez had sailed here in 1774, 4 years before Cook.
But he was a little nervous he didn't get off his ship, and he does all his trading from aboard his ship. Captain Cook and his crew are the first Europeans to land, and they're hosted by the local people at the village here. They stay for a month.
Artist John Weber made drawings of Nootka at the time of Cook's visit, a chief in a whaling hat, Nootka House interior. In fact, artist Weber paid with the brass buttons off his coat to be allowed to draw longhouses in a land Captain James Cook discovered 235 years ago. He found tall and straight Douglas fir trees, ideal for ships' masts, and he traded for sea otters to keep warm because he was going north to the Northwest Passage. And the otters,
they learned accidentally, were extremely valuable in the ports of China. And from that came 50 trading ships by 1805 that all came to Friendly Cove, to Yuquot, to trade for sea otters.
After a month with Chief McQuenna and the Yuquot, Captain Cook sailed away in 1778 in search of the Northwest Passage, later to meet his death in Hawaii. Ships like the Uchuck are still visiting Nootka, a tribute to a bright star in the British Admiralty who visited and recorded our coast long ago.